Coming up today on the Slate, we check out Burn After Reading, the Coen brothers' follow-up to No Country for Old Men, and see if it can top last year's Oscar winner. We also review Robert De Niro and Al Pacino's cop thriller, Righteous Kill, and we're going to take a look at the 10th anniversary DVD release of another Coen brother classic, The Big Lebowski, out now. So grab your bowling balls, you're watching the Slate. Hello and welcome to The Slate. I'm your host, Nick Maslow. The Slate is your weekly dose of movie news and reviews. We sit through the bad films so you don't have to. First up, let's check out the latest news out of Hollywood. It looks like Radiohead won't be the only guys releasing their stuff for free anymore. Controversial film director Michael Moore has announced that he will be releasing his next feature film, Slacker Uprising, for free online. Moore has said that this is his thank you to fans who have supported him ever since his first film, Roger and Me, was released 20 years ago. This marks the first time ever that a major film has been released on the internet in this way. Michael Moore hopes the timing of the release can help more people get out the vote in November. Tommy Lee Jones is suing the makers of No Country for Old Men for $10 million that he claims is owed and was never given. The Oscar winner actor says that Paramount Pictures promised him significant box office bonuses and other compensation before the film went on to make over $160 million. Let's hope that they never make a sequel called No Money for Old Man. All right, bad joke, sorry. And finally, we have some sad news to report. Don LaFontaine, the voice behind thousands of movie trailers, died last week from complications from a collapsed lung. If you don't know his name, chances are that if you stepped into a movie theater in the past 2 decades, you will have heard his trademark voice. In a world of movie trailers, Don LaFontaine was king. Now let's take a look at this week's releases. Out in theaters this week is the Coen brothers' hotly anticipated comedy, Burn After Reading. The film revolves around fired CIA operative Osborne Cox, played by John Malkovich. Cox has to deal with 2 dim-witted gym employees when a copy of his secret-filled memoir ends up in their laps. Meanwhile, his wife, played by Tilda Swinton, is having an affair with a neurotic Lothario named Harvey Farfer, played by George Clooney. The gym employees, played by Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt, try to blackmail Cox, but in typical Coen fashion, matters end up getting messy. Cox refuses to deal with his obtuse blackmailers, so they decide to take matters into their own hands with disastrous consequences.
Let me explain something to you. What you're engaged in is blackmail. That is a felony, that's for starters.
I'm a mere good Samaritan who...
Secondly, the unauthorized dissemination of classified material is a federal crime. If you ever carried out your proposed threat, you would experience such a storm of consequences, my friend, that your empty little head would be spinning faster than the wheels of your Schwinn bicycle back there.
You think that's a Schwinn?
Burn After Reading is a nonsensical farce with a backdrop of espionage. It's a self-aware film that relishes in laughing at its characters as they struggle to piece together the absurd occurrences. All of this would be fine if the movie were actually funny. Malkovich and Pitt are the only real bright spots here. Malkovich plays an irritable, profanity-spewing caricature that is fond of telling people how stupid they are. But the real highlight of the film is Pitt, who channels his inner buffoon expertly. Every one of his movements is infused with such inane energy that his character becomes purely naive. It is hysterical to watch him put on a serious scowl or drink from his water bottle. Too bad the same can't be said for the rest of the film, which suffers from having absent-minded characters that just aren't interesting. Burn After Reading may be worth seeing if only for Pitt, but don't expect to be laughing too often at this dull farce. Also out this week is the crime thriller Righteous Kill. Righteous Kill stars Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They only share the screen for one scene in the crime drama Heat, but in Righteous Kill, we get to see 2 of the greatest actors alive spin an entire film together. Pacino plays Rooster, a clever, sharp-tongued cop, paired with De Niro's Turk, a brutal but skilled detective. Together they try to catch a serial killer whose signature is leaving poems at each of his victims' bodies. The killer targets people who have escaped the justice system and gotten away with murder, rape, and other unforgivable crimes. Righteous Kill is carried by the performance of De Niro and Pacino. But really, what else did you expect? Let's take a look.
Who do you get this time?
You got this Jonathan Van Lyten. He owns a couple of car dealerships.
Was up on rape charges, but they got tossed out last week.
Look at this.
A man devoid of all respect for beauty, charm, and intellect. He took what women would not give. He didn't have the right to live. It's a boy, all right. Looks like you had a beef with our old pal, Johnny.
You know him? Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the story leaves much to be desired, lacking in substance and originality. Although screenwriter Russell Jurwitz provides the viewer with witty dialogue and interesting mind games, the story takes too long to get to the point and leaves the middle with a little too much back and forth plot action that doesn't go anywhere. I expected more from the writer of Inside Man. Luckily, DeNiro and Pacino create great on-screen chemistry that alone makes this film worth seeing. Donnie Wahlberg and John Leguizamo try to keep up with DeNiro and Pacino as a tandem detective team, and they surprisingly hold their own against the veteran actors throughout the film. Carlo Gugino plays De Niro's love interest and a fellow cop. Altogether, the cast is what holds this flimsy story together. But if you are any kind of Pacino and De Niro fan, this is definitely a movie that you are going to want to check out. If not, you are not going to find what you're looking for with Righteous Kill. Now it's time for Stick It in Your Queue, the part of the show where we tell you which DVDs you should lovingly insert into your DVD slot. Jenny, what do you have for us this week?
Well, Nick, this week marks the very special 10th anniversary DVD re-release of The Big Lebowski, the Cohen brothers' cult classic. The movie starts off with Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski, who has his house broken into and his favorite rug urinated on. Upon further reinvestigation into the incidents, he eventually realizes that the criminals of this act had him confused with another Lebowski. After this point, the film begins to get a little fuzzy. The rest of the movie deals with the kidnapping of the other Lebowski's wife, an intense bowling league, and a porn empire tycoon.
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Your name's Lebowski. Your wife is Bunny.
My wife, Bunny? Do you see a wedding ring on my finger? Does this place look like I'm f***ing married? The toilet seat's up, man.
What is this?
Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Woo?
Yeah.
Isn't this guy supposed to be a millionaire? Yeah, what do you think?
He looks like a f***ing loser.
Hey, at least I'm housebroken.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
The film makes little sense, but has plenty of laughs, so don't worry if you don't understand what the big deal is when you first see it. Upon later viewings, you'll realize just how hilarious this film really is. And the movie is bolstered by standout performances from Jeff Bridges, who plays the dude, and John Goodman, who plays the dude's gun-toting, bowling-obsessed sidekick, Walter. The DVD also comes with tons of cool features, including interviews with cast members John Goodman, Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore, and John Turturro. And the coolest part of all is that the DVD case is a bowling ball that, when opened, has the DVD placed inside. Very cool stuff. So just curl up on your favorite rug with a white Russian and hit the play button as you enjoy this hilarious Cohen brother classic.
All right, thanks, Jenny. I love that movie. I'm going to have to check out the DVD. Now it's time to take a look at this week's box office. Shooting its way in at number 3 is the crime thriller Righteous Kill. Coming in at number 2 this week, we have Tyler Perry's new film, The Family That Prays. And it looks like the Coen brothers have another hit on their hands, as Burn After Reading tops the box office this week. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of The Slate. Comments, questions, hate mail, whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theslateshow@gmail.com. Join us next week when we'll have reviews of the Dane Cook comedy My Best Friend's Girl, Sam Jackson's new thriller Lakeview Terrace, and we're going to take another look at No Country for Old Men, which is now out on DVD. Goodbye, guys, and thanks for watching.